So we'll do, this is on the back side of your worksheet, right? So one thing about this problem is it's a little hard to read with all the numbers. I think it is. Did I lose that? No. So what I was telling the other classes, sorry, I switched screens by accident. There we go. What I was telling the other classes, with all of these numbers and these big square angles, it's almost easier to just ignore all that for a minute and just look at the shape. Or maybe what I could do is go over the shape and we could redraw it a little bit better. Because I think what was happening for the morning class or the class earlier is there was so much to look at, it was a little confusing. I don't know if this makes it any better where there's less, a little less of everything. Like the 7 is just pointing to this right here. Each one of these is 7. So maybe a better way to write it is like that. Does that help?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the square angle, you know, they made it so big, it's a little like confusing.
It's a little bit like that.
Yeah, you're trying, it almost looks like a new shape, but it's just a square angle. Does that help? So Nick, look at your paper and look what I did. I just, like, they have so much in here. The height,
Oh,
the whole height then would be how much? How much is this black dotted line?
14.
That's 14. And then, so one of the things I asked you to do on the worksheet, Andy, why don't you turn around and follow along with this, is to draw this with figures. So I see 1, 2, 3 triangles and a rectangle. How about you guys? So if that's what you're going to see, then that's what you should draw. So this is a 7 by 14. So Sammy, what's the rectangle dimension?
What?
Like, what are the lengths of the rectangle?
9 and 7, or 9 and 14.
9 and 14. So Michaela, this was something you were asking about the directions.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking you to do. And then there's 2 little triangles. So Mark, what are the base and the height of the little triangles?
10 and 7.
Yeah, this is 10 and this is 7. So that's your first step. Okay, so Mark, why don't you keep going with that? How would you figure out the area then of the whole yellow shape? Good, 7 times 14 divided by 2.
I got 90.
Okay, so 7 times 10 is 70. 7 times 4 is 28, so you're right. 98 divided by 2. So you could think of that 90 and 8 and divide them each by 2. What's half of 90? 45. And Michaela, what's half of 8?
4.
Right, so you're going to have 45 plus 4, so this is 49.
9.
Now do the rectangle, Michaela. 9 times 14, so 9 times 10 is 90, right? And 9 times 4 is 36. So add those together. Right. This one was 49. So this was, just like you were saying, 9 times 14, and 9 times 14 is 126. Okay. So Jackson, how about the next triangle? you would, and there's 2 of them, so I'm going to put a 2 outside the parentheses. 7 times 10 and then divide by 2. So what's 7 times 10? 70 divided by 2. Good. And then so then I have to double 35, right? What do I end up with? 70, right? So here's that pattern again. When you divide something by 2 and then double it, you're right back to where you were. You're right back to that 70. So we add these 3 numbers up. Let's do that up here. So 126, 49, and 70. Andy, what's 6 and 9?
6 times 15.
Carry the 1. Now what do you get?
14. Well, 13 plus the 1.
Right. And then 245, right? So the area of this, what are my units, Andy? It's area.
Say meters squared.
It would be
meters.
meters squared, right? Okay, so that's how you do a composite area or a complex area where it's one shape divided into other shapes. So I'll post that too. And then you guys, before I stop this, let's just look at this one down here. I think this is on the back side of your worksheet too. Try to see only 2 shapes there. So what's happening is this dotted line here is confusing people. So if I trace over this before you start, you see a parallelogram and a triangle now?
Yeah.
Doesn't that make it easier? And then think of it that way. Who can answer that? What do you do for parallelograms? Kyle?
Base times height.
You do base times height. So your base would be here, right? For both of those. And your height is this. It's not the 10. It always is the one that makes the square angle. So it would be out here for the triangle, right? Okay, so try that one by yourself. And then, okay, so let's check how you guys did this. You should be redrawing your parallelograms. So when you look at the yellow one, what I'm expecting to see on your work is that you are sketching out your pictures. So the base here is the same as this, right? So this is 15, and the height is 7, right? So you have 15 times 7 for that piece. You don't divide by 2 because it's a parallelogram. Does that make sense? And then you have a triangle, but you're gonna, usually I just rotate the triangle. In other words, this triangle, if I were gonna redraw it, I draw it like that. You know, I just rotate it. Because it's easier for people to kind of visualize that, position that way. So the base is still 15, and the height right here is still 7. So it's 15 times 7, but what do I have to do next? Divide by 2. So 15 times 7 is what? 105. And so 105 divided by 2 52.5. What was the question, Kaden?
What?
Did you have a question? Okay, Michaela. Yes. 100. Hold on, let her look at it. 105 plus 52.5.
Yeah, I thought 157.5.
Right. 157.5. And the units? Inches squared. Nice job. Okay. For the I did it. There's just two shapes, Sammy, the yellow and the green. So some people are making it more complicated. You want to look for two shapes on this one. So, for example, if we go back to some of these other ones, like this one here, I don't know what number it is on your sheet. It's on the other side though, right? There's really three shapes here. Do you see the three shapes? There's the triangle. Do you guys see these?
Oh yeah, that's just a right angle.
Right, and then there's the rectangle. Whoops, I made that a little crooked. And then there's the That's what we talked about. Those pictures aren't very great because those right angles they make so big, right? So if we just sort of make these a little see-through to see the numbers, it'll make maybe, and then kind of blot those right angles so they're not so dominant, and put the values in. This is a 1. This is a right angle. That's supposed to be a right angle too. And this is 1 unit plus 2 units, so that means this is how many? How much is this? But it's 2 here and 1 there. 3. Okay, and Mark, what is it from here to here? So the whole thing's 5, right? Across the top. And you know this is the same as this, so what's right here? 1 in here. What about from here to here? 2 because of the bottom, right? The whole thing's 5, so what's this? From here to here? 2. Okay. So when you do the area for this, you have 3 shapes, right? Does that make sense? When you do the area for this one down here, how many shapes do you have? 2. Claire? For the yellow triangle up here, right here, yeah?
For that side, the angled side.
Yes. We don't need it if we're doing area, right? If we're doing area, we're going to have a right triangle. And you do base times height. Do you have the base?
Oh, I didn't flip it around. Okay. Yeah, we have the bases too.
And the height? 3. If we were doing perimeter, we would need that third side.
Yeah.
And then we have the rectangle, right? What's the base and height of this? 2 and 3, right? And then we have the square. So what's the area of this triangle, Andrew? How do you figure it out? Right? Perfect. Good job. So 3. So 3 here, right? And keep going, Andrew. But it's not a triangle. Equals 6. Good. So the rectangle 6. And then the last one? Yeah, it's 1 times 1, right? So the total area for this? Perfect, 10. 10 feet squared. Okay. Stop there.